I'm doing the intro music.
That was hard, though.
That was the intro music.
It was tough.
It dawned on me that we don't have... Well, we do have intro music. How come we didn't do it? I should have sent it to you. Want me to send it to you right now?
You should send that to me.
Okay.
What's good, everybody?
You do that?
Back on Facebook. Maybe if my mouth wasn't
Try it.
a little...
Carl, you try it. No, that's not how you gotta do it like this. It's like an inhale. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's like a reverse. Yeah, you do like a reverse snail bomb. And then let it go. No, like the rappers do. That's not really.
Spanish, like they're like.
No, yeah, right.
I'm learning though how to roll my R's. Though.
What are you learning about?
I gotta learn how to roll my R's.
Okay, I don't like this. First of all, I don't like this setup. I want to be completely upfront with both of you. And you're not. What are you doing on this program? You're not even on this program. You got Sunday nights.
I'm just here to read the comments. Hi.
We got to talk about this later.
Right.
And we have to talk about why this lady's even on here. Because technically this isn't your show. This is my show. I don't go on your show.
Yeah, you do. You're behind the camera.
Yeah, but I don't ever go on your show on Sunday night on Swarm TV.
You've done it a couple of times.
When you've requested that I go on your show. You've never said... People never say formally, can I go on your show? I've never said, pretty pinky promise, please, can I go on your show, dear? I've never asked you that.
Well.
I do appear in the background because you scripted that in there. You said you wanted me to be disgruntled in the background during your broadcast. You guys don't know that at home. People think that we do this shit freestyle.
Hi, Richard.
All right, so we're back
Richard
on...
says I'm always welcome, just so you know.
Listen, Rich, can you please not instigate? Because I'm not even allowed to... per my contract, Melissa has it written in where I'm not allowed to be part of the image of Sunday night. I'm too raw. I think that was how it was described.
Something like that. Hi, video. What did Bill do wrong this week? Because I'm on screen.
They're kicking me out. They're getting rid of me.
Bye.
See? I thought she wasn't. Look at how much she's talking. Remember she said she was going to come on and she wasn't. She said, I'm going to look at the laptop. She said she wasn't going to talk.
I guess she wants to talk.
Right, that's it.
I'm here for the people.
You were always here for the people. That's why we have you here. No, the truth is we were thinking about like integrating Melissa into the program. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. Well, she's obviously integrated. We're gonna need a bigger table. So
Don't
normally
you want to cover this now.
Well, we don't have to cover it now. We don't have to. We'll talk about it later. But we're back on Facebook, and we're gonna be back every Wednesday. Right. Today we're talking about. You put on the ticker. There's some like government agencies are banning TikTok. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, that's
fun. Right. And we have a whole bunch of other topics, but the show is usually made up of what we call topic blocks. Melissa, if you didn't know. Do you know how we do things here?
I mean, I've seen you do this a couple of times.
It's not like your little Swarm TV. This is organized over here. Okay, no, so basically we set the whole show up in like topic blocks where it's broken down into like 8 different segments. But I was talking with Lexi today and I was thinking, wow, wouldn't it be cool if, because naturally the reset is a big part of the conversation. You don't really talk about a lot about the hard rock and heavy metal reset. Melissa doesn't come on here and talk about that. So that'll be interesting. But I was thinking about, what if we opened up the topics to wider topics?
Hi, Jeffrey. What up, Cajun?
That we can cover everything.
I mean, we've covered a lot of stuff here.
But there are some things that we haven't.
Like what?
It's like
I kind of put you.
shock.
Yeah, I kind of put you on the spot there.
Yeah.
So one thing is, this would be like a new season for us, and we're gonna make some changes as far as like what it looks like. And we need,
as well as her being here.
right. We need like a director's, like a true, like a production or a director's department for you. Maybe Melissa should have her own camera.
Yeah.
Put a 1 in the chat if you think Melissa should have a camera too.
And we can call it the Wolf Cam.
The wolf cam.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But now that we're back on Facebook, we got to get up to date. And there's so much to talk about. Usually we do this to about 9 o'clock, and then we go hang out with ICG. But because we've gotten so much shit online, and because I come on this program and talk a lot of shit, our fans are aware of the amount of shit. So we get...
Hi,
We-
Ray.
Right.
Hold on.
Are we talking?
There is no... We are the smallest... We are the largest, smallest band on the planet. Which means we get a lot of shit.
Yeah.
All right? And shit stinks. Let's face it.
Smells.
Right, you gotta have some place to put it. If you think about it, modern day society is all based on where we're gonna put the poop. When they build skyscrapers, it's not. They don't think about where's the desk. They don't think where's the sink. They don't think where we're gonna put. Well, they do think where we're gonna put the elevators. You want to know why? Because people got to get up and down to get to the toilet. Think about it. When they build a skyscraper and it's reaching the heavens, when you go to the Sears Tower, next time you're standing outside of the Sears Tower, you're standing outside your favorite scraper, all right? I want you to scrape your plate, all right? And I want you to look up in the sky, and I want you to look up at the skyscrapers, and I want you to imagine all the people going up and down in the elevators. I want you to pretend that the bricks don't exist. I want you to get rid of the paint. Just imagine that it's see-through. And just watch all the people going up and down the stairs and the escalators and all the paper moving around and the fucking fiber optics and the emails and the wires and everything going around. And then I want you to think about the poop. I want you to think about how much fucking poop has to go from the bottom floor to the top floor. Our closest fans are aware of how much shit goes from the bottom floor to the top floor. Mm-hmm. Every now and then, our fans, they send us crickets. They send us grasshoppers.
Yeah.
Melissa has eaten a fucking scorpion on camera.
Yeah.
We have over 2 million views on live broadcasts on Facebook alone. That's just on Facebook. You can count them.
Yeah. It's a lot of people that saw the bugs.
That's a lot of people. Right, that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of people that have seen you open up Christmas presents. Mm-hmm. We've had battles. Think of how many drummers we've had since our original live.
Wow.
People are aware of the amount of shit that comes in the building and goes out.
Poop emoji.
So because of that, our fans and our friends and family are very sensitive of the amount of shit that happens, and we do go through. We are a baby white band, being on the RV and dealing, with all the personalities and behaviors. You can imagine the amount of shit that our fans are aware that we deal with, and that's why this week.
There's nothing wrong with the bugs. I feel attacked.
Because of the amount of shit we've received, our fans have once again come to the rescue. And this week, this is what we received in the mail.
Thanks.
So,
Champion with sepsis.
So I know some people out there, all you guys starting bands out there, all you people, I want to say to all of you at home, for all of you upcoming creators and entertainers, and people that are aspiring to have a message and movement, and people who are authentic, hardworking rockers, actors, singers, porn stars, strippers out there, making the world go around, making people laugh, making people cry, making people happy. You guys are truly the wonders of the world and responsible for all the shit that comes in and out of the building. So I appreciate all of y'all for all of the gifts. I appreciate you all for all the gifts. And usually we've gotten air fryers. I mean, we have gotten video game systems. This by far is the most appropriate gifts. And because of this, I have gone and done the research of 10 exceptional ways to use human shit.
Like that would benefit humans?
Yeah. I figured we get so much shit, we might as well learn how to use it.
Video said it had nothing to do with this, but I'm totally going shopping. Listen, I did not realize this was a real cereal brand.
Well,
but it is.
It is. You know, I'm thinking if we get enough stars, Lexi will try some.
I will.
Hi, Brian.
How many stars and Lexi tries some? Think about it. We'll come back to it. So in the meantime,
500 stars.
In the meantime, because we get so much shit in the band, and we're always putting up with so much shit, I figured it was the most appropriate thing to do, you know, as a result of receiving a wonderful gift like that, is talk all the reasons human shit can really be useful.
Hans is scared of the cereal.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy. 10 exceptional ways to put human waste into use in an environmental friendly way.
Let's hear it.
The production of biogas. Did you know that, Lexi?
Production of biogas.
Yep.
What do you mean? Like in the stomach? When
Yes.
it starts the process?
Mm-hmm. Methane gas is produced by human waste and can be tapped and used to produce biogas.
So like farting?
Yeah. Okay. So it could be used
Brian said there's a cereal called Dingleberries.
Send us a link. So biogas could be used to generate electricity.
Mark.
Yeah, it could be used to cook food and heat water for domestic or industrial use.
What kind of fart would you have to produce in order for that to work?
High temperatures.
Okay.
So high temperatures favorable in decomposition in organic matter. Biogas, when burned, in the presence of oxygen, it reacts and produces energy. So there you go. Not all shit is bad shit.
That's all.
We all know that human waste can also be used as fertilizer.
Oh. Wait, even humans? That's cool.
Yes. It's recommended that it's treated at least once before its application to a farm. Keep that in mind for all you out there. Yeah. This is really weird. This one makes me cringe a little bit, but it's a fecal transplant. All I'm going to say is that it has to do with one person having an infection and then moving stuff around. I don't want to get into that. But hydrogen fuel is another one.
Hydrogen fuel?
Yep. And this is my personal favorite because I feel like if you eat enough of this, this will turn out well.
500 stars.
So, we talk about like fucking tiny homes and, I don't know, but like we have lived in our apartment for like 5 years and we are surrounded by abandoned buildings. Yeah. We are surrounded by cemeteries, abandoned buildings, and let's just say there's not a lot of occupied structures.
Yeah. So,
but there's a big apartment complex directly across the street from where we are, and it's completely abandoned. And it was in pretty good shape when we first moved here, but we live in I'd say like a decent part of town. So it's not crazy. It's certainly fit to live in, and the homeless people don't even live in it, and it just makes me sad. I looked outside the window and just been like, man, imagine all the people that could be living there. Imagine It's just landlocked. But then I got to thinking to myself, it costs a lot of money to make houses and to have construction companies and all this. And I just wonder, with all the products and plastic and harmful stuff that's with the environment, I got to thinking and I started researching poop. And I realized that you can make a really good brick out of poop.
Does it say in there how long it takes for the poop to harden
I don't
to
know.
a brick?
I'm going to tell you, though.
Oh, God.
No, I'm going to tell you.
This is really interesting.
So,
I'm sorry.
incinerated sewage sludge and ash combined with vegetable oil
Okay.
is perfect for making bricks. These bricks are carbon negative, as the oil used is derived from plants which sucked the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Also,
the plants.
well, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I could tell you what this article says.
Okay.
And it says that the utilization of such bricks in construction protects the environment, considering that traditional bricks are made of toxic bullshit. Human waste is traditional, that it would be sent to a landfill utilized to build structures of many kinds without any scent, and it's pocket friendly too. So I just wanted to say, I don't give a fuck how much you people want to give us, how much shit we get on this network. We're going to figure out how to fucking use it.
We're going to use it and make a house with it.
So that is the moral today. And leading into that, I just have to go over the amount of shit that sometimes we get about this new thing that everybody's doing. It's new to me because I'm from the 80s and I don't really give a shit. But y'all got to stop cyberbullying each other over rock and roll, man. Please. I'm begging y'all to just be nicer to each other online or take a break from social media. A couple weeks ago, my girlfriend is so awesome. She came on here and she was like, please, you guys be kind to everybody. And then she gave a lot of y'all grown men. She gave y'all nice, kind, generous people, I think, one of the most generous recommendations a person could give. And she said something to the effect of, stop me if I'm wrong, that if you're experiencing cyberbullying because you listen to Sepsis music or you watch our programs, you got a couple choices. Now, me, I only use social media for the band. I know that's fucking weird. But I don't have breakfast on social media unless I do it on purpose. I don't talk about my feelings on social media unless I've done it cognitively and on purpose and considered the consequences. Now that's just me, but I'm going to tell you why. And that's because I'm going to tell you why. And that's because I went to jail. A long time ago, I went to state prison for not knowing the difference between right and wrong. And I wasn't one of those guys that went to prison and lied about it. Everything I did, I actually did it. So that's something y'all can all learn about me today. So what does that tell you? It tells you we don't have any skeletons in our closet, right? And we know the difference between right and wrong. And we also know what it's like to pay swiftly and certainly and take accountability for what we have done. We know the difference. So in terms of this, I'm going to give you a recommendation if you think that you have been treated poorly on social media. I recommend that you please turn off social media. If somehow you've been listening to rock and roll bands on Facebook and somebody is bothering you, or you're afraid of somebody, or you're a fan of my work and somehow that has caused some sort of pressure or limitations or obstacles in your personal life, you need to turn off the fucking internet. That's the only thing I could tell you. I think Melissa said something to the effect of also, stop me if I'm wrong, go through the chain of command. I'm not from an era where, we use gadgets and shit to argue with each other. I'm not really from that area, so it's hard for me to understand. I'm trying to be a little bit more sympathetic to it. Lexi's been teaching me a lot about it with her cyberbullying classes that she does on the Metal Honeys. You just had a new episode where she covers how to take care of yourself and self-help and personal inventory. I didn't know this was such a thing.
Yeah.
Until they were, grown middle-aged men contacting my girlfriend to help them with it. Guys, this is not appropriate. You know what I mean? If you're at the point where you're contacting a young woman online, you know what I'm saying? We sing songs and stuff like that and play video games. We don't really give a fuck what people do online. So you got to, and if we did, then we would take it, there would be the appropriate steps. Like a chain of command, there would be, there would be an appropriate way to handle that. So please, if you feel like somebody is scary to you or you feel like somebody's pressuring you, please talk to somebody that you care about and go through the appropriate channels. Because social media is what got you in trouble in the first place, probably. Give it a break. Take a break. Turn it off for a while. That's my recommendation. But please don't contact public figures or don't contact DJs, when you're having a bad day. It's difficult. The only part of our lives that people can see on the internet are the parts that we make observable to other people. That's me, that's you, that's everybody. Like we're live right now, right? So I'm responsible. I'm responsible. I have the time. I can watch. Ready? What am I doing right now?
You're on a podcast on the live stream.
Right, and I'm going to stop now. Ready? What am I demonstrating?
Being uncooperative?
Maybe for you. But it's self-control.
Okay, that's much better.
Maybe in a chaotic sense, because you're like, dude, we have to do the podcast. Now you're being really uncooperative. So you know that I'm doing the podcast. So she's like, wow, you're being uncooperative. So in that sense, she's correct. But I'm sure what I'm trying to show y'all is I'm exhibiting self-control. I don't have to jump out of my seat. I don't have to wiggle around. Sometimes we do that on this program, right? Sometimes I jump and I start yelling in the air, right? Do you think I'm doing that on purpose? Or do you think that do you think that's manufactured, Lexi? Or do you think that I'm just impulsively doing that?
Manufactured.
Do you think that everybody at home knows that?
No.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to say about this whole cyber experience that we're all having. There's some people on that side of the camera that haven't realized. There's some people that's listening to the music. There's some people that's sitting on their phones. They're going, they think they're part of some club. They think they're gonna get you. Right.
Thanks, Eugene, for the follow.
Lexi just said something important. She said that there's people on that side of the camera that you guys watch us online or you watch podcasts or you come play video games with us. And it's not just us, it's all of us.
Hi, Michael.
It's all of us at home. So what happens is we see bits and pieces of each other during the day. On Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. You see your favorite artist and your neighbor, and the guy at work doing his TikTok dance, whatever's going on, right? And you see bits and pieces of arguments. You see bits and pieces of politics. You see bits and pieces of heavy metal and bits and pieces of what you think it's like in the hood and bits and pieces of what guitar players do or what bits and pieces of what you think it's like to be a drug addict or a stripper or a police officer. You see bits and pieces. And the other larger parts that you don't see, your imagination fills in the gaps. So what I'm trying to say is that we don't use any of these things, these platforms, the gadgets. We've never used these things in our personal lives. Although it might appear like we're doing that. Let me ask you a question. Lexi, when we go live, do we do it randomly or is it scheduled?
Scheduled.
So is it safe to say that we know what's going to happen or what we're going to talk about before we go online?
Yeah.
Have I prepared some sort of structure for this conversation?
Yes.
Okay. So, but it's easy for people, if they're here for the first time or they're experiencing the internet on autopilot, as a lot of people seem to do, you can watch a very small amount of information and your imagination fills in the gaps to the point where you feel like you might know your favorite athlete. You feel like you might know your favorite porn star's position. you feel like you might know what your favorite rapper is going through. But I assure you, everybody, most of the entertainers and the content creators that are online are responsible for the largest amount of content. Hold up. But the largest amount of people viewing the content are not the same people that are creating it. Hear me out. The smallest amount of people creating on Facebook are responsible for the largest amount of creating. There's not a large amount of creators that are responsible for podcasts on Facebook.
There's a small amount.
There's a larger amount of people on Facebook that are not podcasting. Mm-hmm. So, the largest amount of podcasting is being presented by the smallest group of creators to the largest group of non-creators, giving the appearance that we all know and we all have the privilege and we all are privy to what is going on when the camera goes off. We see so many bits and pieces of ourselves throughout the day that if you're a consumer, your imagination starts to fill in the gaps, and you forget that not everyone is online. And you forget that you don't actually have the privilege to know what people are doing privately. Mm-hmm. You haven't figured it out that it's not appropriate to contact a singer about cyberbullying.
Yeah.
You haven't put that together. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you like Melissa's music and her songs, it doesn't mean that you know her.
You know her music, not the
Right,
person.
right. When she goes live, she has prepared 30, 40 minutes like being on stage. When Melissa goes on stage, she has prepared, 50 minutes of entertainment that she has planned throughout the week, throughout the scheduled duration. Mm-hmm. The amount of random things that happen are subject to live entertainment, like that. But that's it, okay? What I'm trying to say is I'm still responsible for my behavior and the things that I say, even when I'm on social media. Just because you're on social media doesn't mean you're not responsible. You have the freedom to say things and do things, but that doesn't mean that there's not consequences to the things that you say and do.
There
all right?
is even in the internet.
Even in the internet, that's what I'm trying to say, So, but social media sometimes serves as a place that kind of like creates the mirage or the illusion. We feels like we're seeing each other so much throughout the day that it feels like you can go downstairs and knock on my door.
But you can't.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You see so many videos that feel like they're personal that when you reach out to me on social media, you're expressing yourself emotionally, personally with me. But you don't personally know me. You're not sure what I do when the camera goes off. Just what you see on the internet.
Still a moment.
But I assure you, whatever I put on the internet is planned, and it's at least structured in a way, even if it's live, you guys, it's structured in a way where we all sit down and talk about it. I can even prove it. Watch this. Look, there's no way I could have even. I would have had to write this part. This is the part of live TV. This is good. Look, that's our storyboard for today. See, you didn't know that. I didn't plan on showing you that. See, check it out. So we all write up the storyboard before we come on here, and then look, to go with it, my topic blocks. See? I don't have a problem showing you guys this because I want you guys to snap the fuck out of it. We're entertainers. Yelling, screaming, burning, whatever all the stuff, all the F words. It's planned, guys. See? We're not counselors. We're not cyber friends. We're just musicians that go online and play video games and stuff. That's it. That's it. We're not evil. We're not politicians. Hell, we don't even pick sides. See? I'm showing y'all this so you can see that it's just a production, guys. Just like writing a song. I'm trying to show you that we are aware, even if you're not, we are aware of our morals, and we are also aware of the law. So we have partnerships and we have business-to-business relationships and requirements with Facebook, with Twitch, with Google, stuff like that, you know, with our sponsors. That's just to give you an idea, you know. But so the moral of the story is I know it feels like when you watch this online, when you watch 20 seconds of Will yelling about the music industry, you're like, oh man, I don't like that guy's energy. We don't know my energy. You're just responding to the internet. When you guys are talking about what we do with or without our clothes on, or what type of rumors, you're just responding to the internet. But I assure you, anything that we put on the internet, we put on the internet on purpose. So please, just remember that if you already know that the content, the music, pictures, whatever we put on the internet, we do it on purpose, that gives you a very strong tool that allows you, that reveals something about us that's very important. It shows you that we are aware that we have kept our private lives extremely separate by cognitively going live when we mean it. We're aware that, and I want to let you guys know this because you guys may not know this, because social media, we've had it in our lives for so long now, that some people feel like, I know you feel like your mom at home and your friends at home, and you feel like your cousin at home has the right to be in your business because they see you on social media every day. I know it feels like when you walk into the store and they know your name and they see you and you're doing your videos and you get a little popularity doing your raps or whatever you're known in for town, and people discover you on social media and then they see you in real life. I know how it feels. I get it. You know, people can watch 10 minutes of you online, and they watch another 10 minutes, and it gets in their feed, and they see you often, and then they develop all type of personal and emotional feelings about you. But I'm telling y'all right now, nobody in the world, nobody has the right to your personal information. Nobody has the right to threaten you. Nobody has the right to bully you. Nobody has the right to be in your personal business because you go online or because you're on social media. And everything that you post, everything that you reveal to people, you have to be accountable for and responsible for. Nobody knows anything about you online that you didn't post. Nobody knows anything about you or has the right to any of your information unless you give it to them. So that's all. I know that was rather winded, but I had to say it. It's been a big topic online. I'm learning about it. It's unfamiliar to me. I didn't grow up in that time. You know, I've never been terrorized by people online because I grew up getting beaten up by police officers and shit like that in reality. So I don't really have the same type of, my fears are a little bit, you know what? Everybody has a different threshold of what they think is terrifying. I realize that, and that's what I'm learning. So please go talk to your mom or something. Please stop contacting the band page because we're just a band page. How do you feel, Melissa?
I'm good. What up, Paladin?
Yeah. Yeah, feeling like you know somebody online doesn't mean you actually know them in person.
No, you know the character, not the person behind the character.
Right. And that's not just for us. I'm trying to appeal to you guys' brain so you can stop and think in terms of all of your favorite creators and streamers and people out there. Take personal inventory, man, and ask yourself how much you're helping or hurting the process. Let's talk about auditions. I know this ain't Swarm TV, but we got to talk about it. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys have watched our audition series, Road to the Swarm.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
Melissa, can I say something to you? I've been in other bands before, but I've never been in another, like, I've certainly never been in a band like this. You do realize that you replaced a lineup in 24 hours.
We did.
I'm not saying that to be fresh. I mean, you actually really did. I've never seen it. You're a very interesting person. That's all I have to say.
You're getting some ones.
Hey, first of all, did you expect to recover as now I want to be fair here. Because I need for perspective. I think that we were just almost getting to a standard with some of the past players, like professionally, like performance-wise. I think we were about to reach. I think we were approaching a quality that you and I had been trying. Like we were approaching that presentation. Mm-hmm. Did you think that with the current lineup that you're playing with right now, did you think that you would be able to recover, like, musically this fast? Okay, I understand you had people ready to play, and you didn't just have regular people to play. You had strong players that have been in your life for a long time.
Yeah.
People who are interested in what you do. But just for the lore, did you expect the music to recover? Has the music recovered as well as you'd like it to, or like, what do you think about the current health of the music?
I think we have a ways to go, but it's gone a lot faster than I thought.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's always difficult. I just want to say it's always difficult doing this kind of stuff. I've tried to put out the most, like, honest and transparent educational videos without being fake. You know what I mean? There is a sense of being.
It's not cold to talk about the recovery. It's a matter of embracing the passion with efficiency. It's coming from video.
I can respect that. No, for sure.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. I'm glad you like my art.
So we didn't. What I'm saying is there's like keeping it real, right? And then there's like hurting people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something I'm into, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Nobody wants to do that.
But like when you're auditioning people, that's going to happen, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm the guy in the band. Who has ever been like, of all the, like, I'm always the guy that, like, I'm the guy that lets people down. Nobody wants that job. Has anybody ever taken that job? Ever in act? No. So so if we talk about like people that, people that haven't made it in the band or people that have been fired from the band, who fires them?
You usually.
Mm-hmm. I'm also the one that enforces the rules. So when people walk out, who are they usually walking out on?
You and Melissa.
Right. So I'm the ultimate asshole. So, but what I'm saying is, when you're hosting an audition process, right? I have auditioned and I have played with a lot of players over the years that didn't come into the act with the qualifications. They had, but maybe they had other qualifications, like they were really great people. You know what I'm saying? They had good attitudes, or they were excited at the time, whatever, right? That's really positive. I think that's a lot to be said by that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll speak on that in a second. Hold on 1 second. However, I will say I'm normally the guy that's training them. What I'm saying? But we know some other great trainers that we've had also. But we've had people as great trainers in the act, but we really haven't had, like, administratively, I'm the guy that has to go into the room and tell people, like, bad news. Who name another staff member that is responsible for bad news ever?
Much love, Ray. Catch you later.
Oh, you know who? My brother, Ben. Ben's fired some motherfuckers. Yeah. Remember that time? Remember that? Yeah, I was gonna say. Remember that time we were supposed to have the show and nobody wanted to have the show? Ben fired everybody.
Yep.
He was the manager. He fired them all on the spot.
He sure did.
And then we rehired everybody and we had the show. He's the one who taught me that. I'm serious. Remember that? I don't know. He's probably watching.
That's cool.
Remember
Sometimes
that shit?
You gotta do it.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. It was a good one.
Sometimes you gotta do it.
That's my, and like some people, like, when people come in, you got the honeymoon period. Not even the honeymoon period. Some people are really gung ho, and taste buds change. Things change. You know what I mean? If there's anything, I could say for sure that some of the people that were auditioning this time around were certainly super talented.
Yeah.
When the business and the dream are walking the same path, it isn't cruel to say we're on different paths. It's a kindness that spares an illusion of hope destined to shatter.
Wow. That was really deep. I wasn't prepared for that.
Han said Ben is the man.
He is the man. Yeah. No, I agree with that. And that's why, I honestly, throughout the 13 years of us doing this, there's not a live that you'll ever see me say something negative about a person. Never. I'll never come on the internet and say something negative, or you'll never hear me. There's no record of me insulting anybody that I've ever worked with. Ever. So I just want to talk about the plan, because the plan has changed, right? So at this time, because I'm sure a lot of people want to know, so who's being auditioned, right? And who's playing right now? Mm-hmm. Right now, so normally we're a 6-piece band, right?
Right.
What they call that a sextet. Why y'all laughing like that? So
no, I haven't been able to get the stars to work on this computer. I don't know what's going on with that. So if you guys are sending stars, thank you. I can't see them, but we'll definitely be able to, we'll have them. So thank you. I need to fix that. I don't know what's going on. I might have to reinstall my Streamlabs or something.
she loves to reinstall things. Trust me.
I have a lot of fixing to do on
Right.
this computer.
So for all you people out there that are wondering what we really do off camera, all the scandalous and hot steamy shit, it's her fixing printers.
I have fixed the website. So go to sepsis.com also and sign our guest book.
Mm-hmm.
Sepsis.com, spelled SEPSISS.com.
We don't do that on this program.
Well, we just got some new merch too.
No, we don't do that.
I need to say something.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. You've got to get. If you're gonna be here, we have to figure out the format. You can't just do this. This is new for you.
This is the first time, so we'll figure it out
once
we go through the feedback.
I don't know what we're doing.
Just being me, honestly. I'm just here.
This is why you and I aren't on a program together. See why we need to be separated.
Hi, Gideon.
Hey, the fans seem to like you guys not separated, so.
That's because they like it because we're going to argue.
Oh, well, Joshua McNeil, thank you for 530 stars.
That's my brother. Yo, hold on. He should come over here. He should come on the show.
You should. I got a seat here.
Wait, did we hit the goal already for me to try the poop cereal?
They're trying to get rid of me.
Oh, hold on.
Did we just hit the goal?
Hold on, I gotta go grab the poop
cereal. Oh, we did.
Nuh-uh.
That's right.
Really? Hold on. We're gonna try the poop cereal.
Poop cereal.
I'm really mad at myself for remembering that, because I would normally
Honestly,
forget that.
Forgot. I totally forgot.
I'm so mad that I remembered that. Out of anything I could have forgotten, that's what I wanted to remember, or that's what I wanted to not forget. Like, what the heck?
I'm auditioning for the 6'4" goth in boots that stands in the back and yells for the encore. I can
So
totally
happens when
nail
you
the
open
part.
up your
Video, you
mouth.
got that. Hands down. Oh, he brought you the milk and everything.
This is what happens when you remember things and you don't.
When I was
Oh,
the
this looks
manager of a
like hell,
timber
man.
framing company, I had to do
Okay,
the
okay.
fire
Before we eat this,
Well,
I have
at
to
least you did
ask.
it.
May I look at the nutrient facts to see how
Nah.
much fiber's in it? To see if
Nothing. There's nothing in it. The
there's
entire-
nothing in
Yeah.
it?
Could you guys do me a huge favor and just let me know in the comments when you gift stars because
Oh
I
my
cannot
God.
see them.
Oh
Yo, it smells like
my
rabbit
God.
food.
Yo, there's like,
We're at 1,030 stars apparently.
there is
So
so
thank you
many.
all for gifting stars. You guys are wonderful.
There is so much fiber in this cereal.
I've been away for a bit, busy.
So if
with
you're
life, not sure what
constipated,
happened.
this
Everyone
could
is
be
good.
your cereal.
Yeah, Luke Hard, we're working on a new lineup.
Hold on, yeah, we're talking about it right now.
Oh my god! Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yo, this is literally cereal for someone that has constipation.
So, are you gonna have a problem after eating this?
Hey, if it is as bad as that day that I had 7 hours of that, I'm not gonna go into the gory details because it's very disgusting. But there was a day where
Well, let me know how that tastes.
it was food poisoning. That day.
If she needs to use the bathroom.
All right.
You know. We might need to move this because no one can see her.
What do you think?
There needs to be chocolate, but
There's no chocolate in there? I'm surprised.
Oh my god, that's awful.
What's it taste like?
very bland.
So, I mean,
bland,
let's
huh?
face it.
Uh,
There are no other merch girls in the fucking world. They're gonna poop like a champion.
Oh, yeah.
All right, moving right along.
When you pour the milk over the cereal, it changes color and snap, crackles, and farts.
That's nasty. So about the musicians,
Hans is praying for you.
there's only a couple bites. I mean, come on, you guys.
Yeah, I'm not
so
gonna
dramatic.
like explode.
Right. No, I mean, if you ate a whole bowl of that, you probably, Okay. So, we've been talking about shit for 30 minutes.
This is crazy.
This is why I don't like doing that. We opened up with shit, and we're going to end with shit. Because we're in the shit.
Thank you, Lucard. Thank you so much.
Together.
Could be living in shit.
We're all in this shit together. So, whether you like it or not, Scott. So, the plan. Okay, so here's what... Do we want to tell you? Of course we do. So, I mean, I don't even want to say minutes. I think Melissa said, "Druh!" And then drummers started coming out of the woodworks.
They fell out of the sky. They ran.
No, there were people. Listen, this, I'm not making jokes. It's not even funny. But sometimes when you have, well, I can't even say I could predict this. I never knew in a million fucking years that we were going to take a bump like that. And then it was like in one day, 200 people calling me on the phone. It was like, it went from, holy shit, like, what are we going to do, to, I'm telling you, 200 people on the phone wanting to come over and play drums and guitars. I haven't played this much fucking music in my life. Honestly, all I've been doing in the last 2 months, I've played more Sepsis music in the last 2 months than I've played in the last 2 years, and that's a fact. I kind of like rediscovered the music and shit. Like I didn't even know. We got a whole different thing going on now. This is great. This is fucking crazy. The other thing is I didn't picture to be so excited about everything. I didn't picture to be. I thought we were gonna be like gloomy and like we didn't go through that. It's weird, right? It was like fucking damn. We were just fucking gone. And that, like, I don't know. So like the attitudes and the people that we've been working with are just like that's what we've wanted. So it was like, wow. It was just like crazy. Man, like I don't know. I don't like blowing people up, but like, dude, I'm playing with my guy over here, man. We've been having so much fucking fun. It honestly, I haven't had this much fun being a band member in 4 or 5 years. I really haven't.
The response to the tidal wave is
Whoa.
a testament to the authentic character of the Swarmies.
Dude.
When Mel says swarm, we swarm.
I
appreciate that.
It wasn't. I mean, there's sometimes you go over a big bump, and you got to get out and check it. Nah, man. Like it was a bump. Like it was like a bump. Like, nah, man. Honestly, can I be real with y'all? We went right to fucking work, just like Sepsis does. And so did the staff. My staff was just like fucking boom. It was just like fucking. I mean, it was great. My friends, my family, everybody jumped in. It was instant. Everybody moved as one, and I mean, we even had return. I mean, we had people returning. People that we've been waiting, to have the conversation with. It was just like instant, man. But the new relationships and new friendships that we've made in the last weeks and months, and it's just so refreshing to see people come through the door and discover the music again. So people to not know who we are. You know what I mean? And go, oh my God, and discover us for the first time. Like, that's been, like, to me, the biggest thing that's been, like, the nucleus of excitement and just motivation and optimism. I honestly, I can't say, I haven't been this happy in a long time. And the reason why, for me, because I'm hard at work. We haven't been as productive. One of the big things is, like, as you know, like, me and Melissa, we have always wanted more. No offense to anybody that we've ever worked with. Managers, fucking PR companies, record labels. I know we don't get along with, like, half of them.
What up, Joe? Hi, Garth.
We wanted more from our record label. Right? That was our big problem with the label, right? It was like, fuck, we just wanted so much more. We've had some really good managers, you know what I mean? Some not. But some of them are really good, right? But some of them, we was like, oh, man, we need a lot more.
Totally.
We've had really talented people, super talented. They could do all kinds of talented things. But, clearly, we've always wanted more. We've always saw more as being the engine of the project. We never like started this, like, okay, we're going to start this thing, we're going to do less. We're going to start this thing and we're going to peak and get to a standard. No, it was with the idea is like, okay, well, we're going to research how to become better singers. We're going to allow the fans and our true supporters to grow with us. We're going to leave some headroom in our band the way a lot of bands don't, and allow people to write the music and write the lore and be a part of this thing, and be able to peel back the layers, that you wouldn't normally be able to peel back in a national act or a big, the way celebrities and public figures fucking stiff-arm their fans. We wanted to do something a little bit different, where people could call us on the phone.
Garth is looking forward to Charlie Bravo's I Can't Wait.
Dude, And that's what I just want to say, like, in regards to, like, in all fairness, we have always, you know, with all of the wonderful talent that we've had, and the record labels and the managers and the people that we've worked with and photographers, if you're working with us now, this is true for people. This isn't like some doom and gloom like type of statement. No, if you worked with us in the past or you're working with us right now, if you're in the band right now, we want more. So now that everybody, like, I know that, you know that, we know that, we're live, like, it's been recorded. It's not a secret. So even if you're working with us now, like, no, we want more touring. We want more recordings. We want more music videos. We want more. We want to play more. Our goal in this band is to meet every single one of our fans. That's one of our goals. See, we're not like some bands. They're bands that are looking to play with other bands and kind of convert other bands' fans into their fans, and like they're trying to create opportunities in life where they can benefit from the work that's been done before them. Where our trajectory and our goal, our path, our business model is a lot different. We feel fully responsible, not the label, not the manager, not the fan, no. We feel fully responsible for how many people our music gets to. That's something you just don't hear bands even say, ever. We feel 100% responsible for how many people have listened to Black Light Invasion. So if there's 10 people right now that haven't heard of it, it's not the label's fault. It's not because social media is not going to give us the opportunity, or no one ever paved the way for us, or, nah, man. As artists, we are part of a new generation of artists that are taking full responsibility. Because you can't be independent hoping to be part of some music industry. And you can't be part of some music industry hoping to become independent. I don't know if you guys can follow that. Anyhow. It has been a tremendous experience playing with everybody, but knowing that we all want more. I got a player right now that's been giving us more. I'm not going to even say his name. I'm not going to even blow it up. I want you guys to come to the show and see it. Mm-hmm. This guy's been killing it. He's fucking killing it and drilling it. And I'm loving fantastic. That. I'm loving that. So I'm right now, honestly, like I'm beside myself, because for me, I'm not to be completely selfish, but to be very brutally honest, I'm having fun.
That's awesome.
You know, and like there's some bands out there that they want to be perfect, or they want to have a certain kind of image, or the guitars are so tuned, their fucking eyes will cross. That's not this kind of band, you know. We didn't set out to make perfect music or be the best or the favorite. Mm-hmm. We signed up to not go viral. I think that people that want instant success have to also accept instant failure.
And that's a hard pill to swallow.
You know what I mean? For us, we're kind of we're in it for the long haul, which means you give up the privilege of going viral. So when you give up the privilege of going viral, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have lineup changes. You're going to have label changes. All the greatest bands, all the greatest painters and artists and filmmakers all have peaks and valleys. You know what I'm saying? Your favorite actresses didn't blow up. Einstein didn't blow up. Took him years and years and years and years and years to get his fucking point across. Some of the greatest mythological characters of all times, Muhammad, Jesus, Zeus, they all went through trials and tribulations. I mean, whether you believe in those things or not, they're all connected to a powerful story of peaks and valleys. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun right now, because I'm finally, I'm getting to play my music with some people that can cognitively wrap their head around the composition, and also I'm loving playing with physically capable people. It's been really nice. The attitudes have been great, and we're really excited. We basically have held off on drum and bass auditions at this time.
Papa Songbird sent 1,000 stars. Thank
Does that
you.
mean that Lexi gets to eat more of the poop cereal? I gotta put away the milk, I confess. But so yeah, guys, that's where the process is. The plan is this, and Melissa can tell me to change it at any time. Road to the Swarm is going to continue. We're going to continue to audition guitar players. We will not be auditioning keyboard players at all. And I think I've convinced Melissa to give it a shot with 5 members. And I'm hoping that the technology that we will use, we will compensate for playing some of those textures, like the intros and some of the cinematic stuff and the theatric like themes and some of the orchestral parts can be done on guitar. So we may take that route, and we have some special features to go along with that. I'm excited for that because at this time we've decided to play the rest of the season with the current rhythm section.
Hell yeah.
If we head towards Swarmy Fest 2 and it looks like everyone is happy, then we'll have that conversation then. We are still talking with a handful of guitar players. We've had to part ways with some of the people auditioning, and I want to say thank you to all the guitar players and drummers that auditioned. It was extremely hard for me to get on the phone and tell these really probably better people than me on the guitar. I'm telling them, hey, I don't want you in the band. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not, it's never personal. These people were kind to me. Some of them visited me even at our practice space, at our homes. And I appreciate everybody for giving us the chance.
Another 1,500 stars. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
This is crazy.
The poop like
This
a
is
champion's
insane.
coming back out.
This is how bad. No, I'm going to not say that. I'm going to put away the milk. And
Okay.
and have you got put a 1 in the chat if you guys have seen the auditions with Saoirse. Have you guys put a 1 in the chat if you've seen the auditions in some of the series with Saoirse? Let me know if you've seen that. Put a 1 in the chat and then let me know.
My dad's like, Lexi eats.
Hey, Dad said. So,
Lexi eats.
Dad said. I can at least add chocolate to it, so it can be
Was
tasty.
it really that bad?
It's really bland, y'all. It's really bland. There's no sugar. It's literally like fiber.
You could have put
Is
yogurt
it like
on
eating wood sticks?
Yeah, like powdery wood sticks.
That's awful.
Yeah,
Should at least put some
So-
sugar in it or something.
or some chocolate sauce or something.
Oh,
Chocolate
man.
sauce would be really good.
What do we got for openers,
We
Lex?
got some 1s in the chat.
For an opener, I got Trent Reznor regretted touring with a massive metal band for an interesting reason. He is the
So for everybody out there, who knows who Trent Reznor is? Because Lexi is I'm surprised she's talking about Trent Reznor. Does anybody know who Trent Reznor is?
Oh yeah, some honey might be good in there.
honey.
Yeah.
Oh! Look how I almost spilled the weed and didn't. Saw that?
Does anyone know who he is?
Okay, so who is it, Lex?
Trent Reznor. He's from Nine Inch Nails.
Okay, yep.
In a recent interview, he discussed his regrets touring with a well-known metal band.
Sepsis. I was a kid.
It was Guns N' Roses.
Right.
his regrets in touring with them was because the audience during a couple of their shows. So Guns N' Roses audience, according to Nine Inch Nails' version, is that the audience didn't really like them. They kept throwing up the middle finger and like booing and all of that. And shortly after I almost said Roses on Red. Guns N' Roses, sorry. Guns N' Roses came out with a statement saying that there was an inappropriate thing that the Nine Inch Nails band did that caused it. But it brought up a pretty interesting thought to, which made me want to talk about it, which is the audience experience and feedback with like the lineups. So like when they go to like a show, it's almost like sometimes these well-known bands don't really like take into account sometimes, or they do and it doesn't really work, where giving the fans what they want to see. So putting bands with your band that your favorite band is and giving them a show that they would want to see. Like, for example, Sepsis, and maybe like just showing it off in the dark, like Evanescence or something. That would be something that maybe the fans would want to see.
You didn't see all them people throwing chairs at them the other year? They were burning everything up.
Right, and this is where I'm going with. Sometimes when you're presenting a show to your audience and you're not giving them what they want, like let's say your audience does not like, Cannibal Corpse, but you're playing a whole 2-month tour with them and your entire audience doesn't like them.
Wow.
It might not.
We got into some crazy shit like that before, because people, especially in the all-inclusive genre of heavy metal, where we all pretend how inclusive it is, and then you get there, and then you get to the show, and it's all people who can't stand your kind of metal. We're familiar with that. So no, I understand it. With stuff like metal and rap, I think you're dealing with a greater subgenre of rock and roll. Okay, and we could have at it on that all you want to. But historically, in the United States, historically, if you follow the breadcrumbs back to country and gospel and the transatlantic blues and slave route, there begins a clear picture emerges of where rock and roll came from and how modern rap and metal are presented. And I will say it is definitely a wide brushstroke of culture and variety, one reflective of American culture. So you're going to get many different forms of blues and rock and rap, and we all argue about it. So, but, bad promoters book it together. And one thing I try to do when we have shows, or when we get offered shows, myself and Lexi, usually, we will go and we will watch all the bands. Mm-hmm. I don't know if other bands do that, but we do. And another thing we'll even do is we will Google Earth the venue. We'll look around it. We'll look at the streets going up and down. If we're staying in a hotel, we'll see how you get in, how you get out, where the fire station is sometimes if you need to, depending on where you're going. So it's not a terrible thing to know like who's booking the show. So if you're in a band and you're in a thrash band, and you truly don't like new metal, then you should avoid the promoters that are booking multi-genre shows. You're seeing that a lot now, and people sell them. Sometimes they work really well. Do you guys like multi-genre shows? I do, but I'm a kind of fan.
Mm-hmm. You're a different type of.
I'm a different fan. Plus I like a lot of terrible music. Like I like when people suck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you're on stage and you're playing badly, if I'm in a great mood, I might like it.
Right. You know what? That goes with discovering something too.
Well,
like you would be in a really bad mood and you would listen to this new band and you would fucking hate it.
That's
But,
the point, right? Right. If you were right, exactly. If somebody was fucking you in the shitter, right, and all of a sudden Blacklight Invasion came on, you might be upset or really happy. But either way, you're gonna be affected.
Right. The
Maybe.
mood affects your...
Listen, even Spotify and Goofy Pandora and all these little nerds, they know. That's why the music, even Netflix, that's why it's all mood. All the suggestions are based on mood or workout music or meditation music or, I mean, a lot. Your generation has created this sort of thing. No,
Yes,
I'm not.
like
I'm not
ambient
mad
music.
at you. I'm not mad at you. But this is like y'all generation made up suggesting music because you Alexa, give me music to study to.
Yeah.
Alexa, give me music to punch somebody in the face to or work out. Alexa, get me to my car and back. Yes. Alexa, find my boyfriend. Yep. Alexa, can you do my taxes for me? Tell me if I'm happy. How do I get home?
It's because, unfortunately, some people in my generation...
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying discovery's hard.
They tend to not want to take the time to discover it themselves. They want it to be presented to them.
I'm going to give you one better. People in my age group pretend that discovery's gone.
So it's either they want it to be presented
people
to
in,
them and
people
not
in my
to
age group
themselves.
go, people in my, Lexi, I will never talk shit to you. Want to know why? Because people in my age group goes, I can't believe that there's no more bands anymore.
Flame on Games said, I agree. However you feel while you hear the music will dictate how you treat said music.
Right on, man. If you had a positive experience, if you had a positive experience and at the end of the night you had a strawberry lollipop, you know what I mean? When you smell strawberries, you're going to say, oh man, that has a positive connection. You know what I'm saying?
My dad said, I've always seen Will encourage others.
So at least somebody is witness to this. Thank God it's a...
wants to know how old you are.
Everybody put my age in the comments, please. How old do you think I am?
First song you hear Morning Will.
Since now this is the topic.
He's gonna wait. Oh, this is hilarious. I'm discovering.
This is not my
music
young side.
every
Do
day.
you want me to
That's
turn to my
weird.
young side? Because I can do that.
The card said 34 question mark.
Keep going, guys. Up or down. Just keep going. Try to guess. Try to guess based on my immature
Richard
level.
said 42.
Keep going. Keep going. Up or down. Up or down. Try to... Don't just guess on my looks. Think about what's inside. Think of how
This is so
think of how immature I am.
Robert said 45.
Think of how you think I'm 45 for being this immature. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Come on. What else y'all got for me?
The card said 36 question mark.
You moved. How you gonna move? That's messed up, man. I appreciate all of y'all, except for anybody that guessed over my age. Fuck you.
Tom said, Will, you're 28.
That's because Hans is one of my best friends. You know.
Flame on Games said Will's 35.
Huh? Up or down? Up or down?
These
up or
are
down.
some interesting numbers, I'll give you that.
It's all over the road. I didn't notice that. You can tell Hans is really my friend because he got dramatic with it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, dude, you're 22, man. I'm telling you. Hans knows because Hans knows how I act. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, bro, you're 20 fucking 2.
Hans is fucking 22.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Me and Hans is in the same peer group.
32 question mark?
Wow, you guys are generous. No, I'm 42 years old.
Hey, Richard. High five.
I'm 42. So that should tell all of you something.
That he's 22 forever.
That I'm done.
But
I mean, I had something good to say and then I forgot because y'all terrorized me with my mortality. Thank you.
Jesus said, younger than Pemberton, you still have hair.
I'm gonna tell him he said that. New Zealand's ratio of sheep to people fall to a new record low.
So there's more people and less sheep, or more sheep and less people?
No, there's usually more sheep than people in New Zealand.
So now there's less sheep.
This is a fucking problem.
That is a fucking problem.
Right, if you have more people, then now you gotta make all them sweaters.
Somebody say sheeple?
It might have been me because of my...
Think about this, though.
Yeah.
Think about there being less sheep than people. What the fuck is everybody gonna wear?
42 is the new 24.
It feels like it.
They're gonna wear the koalas.
You just scared all the domestic people.
Mom, I say that all the time.
What?
Hi, by the way. You're only as old as you feel.
You know who
Thank
else?
you.
You know who else said that to me? My primary care doctor.
I say
You know what I
it
said?
all the time, though. It's
No, I really did. I was like, do you think it's appropriate that I'm a fucking psychopath? And she was like, absolutely, Will. She really did. After I got naked and she looked at my body, I was like, how do you feel about this?
Lucard said, I love your form, man. You have a great attitude.
Thank you. The doctor said I had a great body. I got naked in front of her because I always have female doctors. And I said, how do you feel about this? Seriously. I said, adult to adult. I said, you're my doctor. I need to be able to trust you. I said, how do you feel about my middle-aged body? And she said, Will, you look great. She said, you really do. She said, you need to keep doing what you're doing. She said, you look really happy. And she encouraged me to keep being ambitious. So I promised that I would. That's it. Listen, it's like this, guys. Your whole life, you're going to have ideas, right? And then bad salesmen are going to come into your life and they're going to say, you know what you need? And you're going to say, I don't fucking know you. And you're going to be somewhere at a desk somewhere and some woman going to creep up to you and tap you and she's going to say, hey, you know what you need? And you're going to say, lady, I've never met you before. And you're going to be online and you're going to see some post and it's going to say, this is what everybody needs and this is what everybody's doing. This is the trend and this is the church and this is the thing. And they're going to tell you what you need. Everyone's going to come up to you your whole life and try to tell you what you need. And they're going to try to talk you out of your ideas and they're going to tell you their ideas of what you need. And they're going to come up with amazing ideas for other people to do and other things that you need to do. I'm part of I mind my fucking business club. Yep. So the doctor told me that's why I'm happy. She said, because you ain't really worried about what's going on across the pond, Will. You're too busy starting your life right where it needs to be. In your home every day with the people that love you the most. No, so I think a lot of people are stressed out because they gather information, especially now today. You get up and how do we start today, right? We start the day like this. So how does your face start? Look, now I look 10 years older. If I do that hurts. You see what I'm saying? It's like we all bend. Look at this. Look at this shape. If I go like this all day and I read about wars and skin color and cyberbullying, I'm going to be like, look, for half the day, go look at your screen time. You're shopping. You're not getting the deals. You're not getting the good budgets. You're not getting the good hotel room. You're fighting over followers. Your whole life is fucked up. You're fighting over politicians and all bunch of people you never met before. That's why I don't never stress out, because I don't allow complete strangers to come into my life and talk me out of who I love or who I want to be or what I want to do or who I fuck or how I get down. I do what I want when I want, and I take full responsibility for everything I say. I'll go to jail for it. I'll die for it. I stand on it. I live on it. I don't have no regrets and no skeletons in my closet. I've never told on nobody. I don't believe in stealing. I never popped no kids. That's it. It's easy for me. Man caught smuggling scissors,
What?
Lexi, in peculiar location in his body at a jail in Indiana.
Wait. So he
You know I love this shit.
smuggled the scissors in his body? In Indiana.
Well, would it be better if he was in Pennsylvania?
But where is he going? Like, did he go to a
He's
show?
not going far with
the
scissors up his ass.
scissors? Like, why?
He went to jail.
Oh, he put scissors up his butt.
That's what happens when you put scissors up your ass. You go to jail.
Oh, didn't it, like, make cuts?
No, but you
in
know
bad
them
places?
Well, I don't know about that, but you know them when they cut all them people out and they spread it all out like that, and you had all the people holding hands.
Yes.
That's how he was when they told him to strip out in the joint. Just kidding. All right, see, I just want to.
I was gonna say that's crazy.
Listen,
That's like human centipede.
people were kissing 4,500 years ago.
I'm sure, because we needed people.
No, but that's here's the thing that got me fucked up. That's 1,000 years earlier than predicted. We thought people started kissing much later. We didn't know how to do it. Come on, man. It's not like we just had cursive and emojis and fucking iPhones. You guys act like this shit's been around forever. Like, we didn't know. Here's something that y'all didn't even think about. We didn't even know. Let's look up right now when they discovered bacteria. Like, there's nowhere in the pyramids or the Mayan temples or the Bible or anywhere else that you hear about bacteria. Want to know why? They didn't know it existed. So that's what I'm saying. We thought, you don't never go into the Egyptian pyramids, right? And you don't ever see them talking about Bluetooth. All right, hit me.
So Antony van Leeuwenhoek was a cloth merchant from Belgium. He afforded humanity a glimpse into a new world using microscopes. He built himself and studied a pond in rainwater in 1675, discovering what he described as little animals or animalcula, protozoa, and bacteria.
What year was this?
1675.
He found them? Wow. Wow, that's earlier than I thought. That blows my mind. So that's what I'm saying. They were able to view these creatures in the 1600s. That still wasn't 5,000 years ago, though. See my point?
Fairly recent.
Yeah, it was fairly recent. Let's talk about it. Scientists say that they've found evidence that ancient humans began kissing at about 4,500 years ago, which is about 1,000 years before we previously thought. Clay tablets used in parts of modern-day Iraq and Syria suggest kissing was a practice in the earliest Mesopotamian societies. You're Mesopotamian.
I am.
You kisser. You made it up.
You kisser.
You made this stuff up.
Well.
Your people made this up. So for those of you who don't know, Melissa's heritage is Mesopotamian.
I sure am.
Wow. So I have bad news for you. Mesopotamian societies may even had contributed to the spread of cold sores or modern-day herpes. Sorry for the bad news. But researchers from the University of Copenhagen say that they believe kissing was common across many cultures rather than just starting in a specific region. So, it just so happens that this is the earliest account. What do you guys think about that at home?
I hate cold sores.
I've never had one.
Those are the worst.
I've never had, I've never, not that I can recall.
They are so painful.
I didn't know that I could get, what do you call it? Sunburned.
Yeah.
And then one day in my 30s,
Yeah.
somebody was going, "What's wrong with your back?" And I said, "What the fuck you doing?" They were poking me in the back. I said, "Ah!" and they were like, "Something's wrong on your back." I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they were like, "I think you're sunburned." And I was like, I don't sunburn. So I've never burned in the sun like that. I didn't know light-skinned guys burned. Fuck, we don't. That's the last time but I've never had a sunburn since then. Isn't that weird?
How long were you out in the sun that day?
Not long. I'll tell you, no, see, the thing that really blew my mind is that I've been out in the sun longer. I used to do landscaping and roofing and everything.
Well, the sun is a lot more powerful now these days.
It's kind of like my guitar playing.
Wow.
It can burn the flesh. Man kept father's dead body in freezer so he could talk to him. How do you feel about this? Yeah. Want me to read?
Again?
Yeah, an 82-year-old local newspaper. Well, this is what the 82-year-old guy told the newspaper. He stored the corpse of his parent who died at age 101 because he did not want to let him go because he would miss him.
101?
Well, no, the dead guy was. Yeah, the police in the town of Landgraf, this is in the Netherlands, by the way, they reportedly discovered the corpse after concerns were raised by a family doctor who was worried about the 100-year-old's father's death. How do you feel about that?
Wow.
They had a really, that's crazy. You know what? I wouldn't even be mad. Like, if, like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be flattered. Like, if somebody cared about you so much that they packed you up in the freezer. That's kind of cute. I mean, it's messy, but you got to hear me out, though. That's some love. It's deranged, I know. But I find that kind of... Put a 1 in the chat if anybody's crazy as me. But I feel like there's a certain amount of, like... I wouldn't do it. Like, you know what I mean?
There's no soul in there.
Can you do me a favor?
Huh?
When I croak, you don't need to do all that.
It's a shell. What
That's
are
what
you
I'm
gonna
saying.
do
Don't
with
save
it?
me. Don't keep
What
me
are
around.
you
Like
gonna-
if I get, this is for all you at home. Don't save parts of me. Let me go. Feed me to something.
I mean, what's the point?
Oh man, please,
keeping-
whatever you do, feed me to something.
Oh my goodness.
Lexi, what do you got?
Van Halen almost partied a fan to death.
Partied him to death?
Yeah. Almost. So back in 1984, MTV, back when it was actually popping and there was music.
Before you were born?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
do actually remember it still being music related up until like I got into like elementary school. MTV hosted a contest for a lucky winner to get like a backstage pass experience with the band Van Halen. And an amazing winner was drawn. His name was Kurt Jeffries. He was a young college kid at the time. And also, this was later discovered after this whole tobacco.
Tobacco?
Tobacco.
I'm just kidding.
He recently, like before the contest, like just recovered from like a major injury. So prior to this party, he's been like recovering from this injury. And they didn't know that he had this injury until after the party.
Yeah.
So during the VIP experience, Van Halen took him backstage where he met Eddie and his wife at the time. And they immediately just started drinking. Kurt, instead of bringing his girlfriend, he brought his best friend. And during this...
I feel like you were there, Lex. Go ahead, keep going.
yeah.
I've been transported.
I wish I was there because this looks like a party. So they got up on stage. This is me and Melissa's favorite part. Here we go. He got up on stage and cake was thrown in his face.
Woo!
Shortly followed by some champagne being tossed into his beautiful mouth. So he is already drunk as fuck. And during this time, he blacked out. There was some sexy, spicy stuff that happened because, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And he ended up blacking out, and he almost died.
I was going to say, this sounds illegal. All parts of me right now was like, somebody needs to call a lawyer.
Video said shocker, an 80s band partied too hard.
Yeah, them guys are crazy. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
We're so boring.
Hello, Bristol.
He would
How
have
are you?
not
Hi,
been able
Chris.
to, like, almost die if he didn't have, like, clots and stuff. Like, he had, at the time, had a lot of stuff going on. So the alcohol, he was supposed to be drink. So, yeah, they almost partied him to death. Which makes me ask the chat if you guys have had any crazy VIP experiences. Maybe not so extreme as this, but maybe something a little bit more.
Wow. Be careful what you put in the chat.
Right.
Okay, I just want to read this because sometimes we read crazy shit off the internet, especially on Facebook, because it's it's honestly the most magnified and ridiculous you can find. This is off of, this isn't anybody important. This isn't a celebrity. This isn't, any staff members or anything like that. This is just like regarding music production. I just wanted to share it with everybody to get what you guys thought. There's no right, there's no wrong in this. This is just stuff that I come across the internet, and I just want to, I'm learning. You guys are teaching me. So this is from a Walter Rodriguez. Nobody knows who the fuck he is. A computer producer or musician is really an idiot in comparison with anyone that plays an acoustic instrument. Is this what people are trying to tell us? Let's have our debate. Even though I have a hard time with English, I feel like he's doing fine, especially in technical terms, as this conversation I see a lot of pride and hate for producers and computer musicians going on. Let's debate it then. Skills are required as a computer musician, motivated artist, and managing the artist, which involves 100 more skills. Psychology, managing production, knowing when the artist should record, how he listens to the beat, and how the artist is released after on which he is invested. The skills that are required are endless. Assisting, I'm cleaning him up a little bit, everybody. Assisting artists in the studio, microphone placement, programming the drums, drum machines on a computer. Yes, you can play drum samples or from other instruments and most DAWs or keyboards. He's trying to educate y'all. But I mean as real as possible. Deep knowledge about effects and compression, EQ, limiting, saturation, reverb, and a means to knowing the speed of sound, doing the math with it, and knowing how different frequencies reflect on different surfaces. Wow, we talked about that earlier, Lex. Yeah. How distance affects reverb, how deep knowledge in the history of music, specifically the history of instruments, the knowledge of families of instruments, strings, lutes, brasses, woods, a deep knowledge of the music industry, how people react to the music itself, knowledge of the genres, the existence, the past and history, and a deeper knowledge about production, composition, and mastering. The list goes on. So a computer producer is an untalented and inferior to somebody who plays an instrument. I want to know why. There is this argument.
Chris, if you need a bigger sepsis shirt, message me. I'll send you some links.
We'll try to hook you up. So I've heard a lot about this sort of stuff. We've talked about this a lot, like off camera, how we feel. I mean, I think at one point it gets debatable whether is somebody using skill to create music with a computer versus playing the cello. Well, cello, I think we're talking about two different skill sets.
Definitely. You'll need different skill sets to do each of those things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really think there's much debate. It's like getting into like marketing and advertising.
Right. It's brain splitting stuff.
One could argue, okay, that programming a tuner isn't musical. You can't say, I don't like computers and music, and then listen to a metronome. This is a computer. Hold on. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. This is a fucking machine. Come on, why? Because I don't plug it in? It's not a fucking machine? It's a fucking machine.
Yes, because there's mechanics in it.
It's mechanical.
Yeah. Machines
Why?
are mechanical.
Sorry, Alexa, give me 95 BPMs. That's not 95. Let me stop. Y'all hear me, though. You know what I mean? Is it not? See? Hold on. Every time I use a tool now, I'm not a musician? How much are we going to make this argument? How far can we make this argument? This is okay. This is like the problem and the fear that we have with the AI shit. I'm always making fun of the AI shit. Please, Gio, don't flip the table on me. This table is smaller. It's the only one we got.
Please don't flip.
Don't flip this
table.
one, please.
It's on its last leg.
It's on its last leg.
Please.
Okay. But we were talking about like the Mayan temples and shit. Okay, they just found yesterday. They just sold. They just sold one of the oldest versions of the Hebrew Bible.
Sold.
Not to be confused with the Christian Bible. Not to be confused with the modern day. Please don't. Another conversation, different place. But they yes, it was sold. Go look at it.
Okay.
Well, that's a different conversation. But what I do want to say is, okay, is it is not any less beautiful. God damn it. No pun intended. But it is not any less beautiful. What I'm saying is, okay, is Pixar more beautiful than Looney Tunes?
I think their beauty is just the same.
Right. I think they both have something different things to offer.
I was
right.
about to say that.
All right.
Yeah.
Is African jewelry more beautiful than European jewelry? I hope you don't say something foolish out there.
They're both very beautiful.
Because depending on where you live and where you wake up every morning and where you plan to be, your beauty is going to change. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when people be like afraid of like the big thing right now is like everyone's talking about it right now. Please nobody get mad at me. Everyone's talking about AI music. Okay? I don't fear AI music the same way I don't fear a computer producer or whatever. Mm-hmm. I look at the guitar tuner the same way I look at the guitar pedal. It's another way to navigate and manipulate the frequency.
Yeah.
Now, and I'll get into that. But like we don't look back into temples, right? People scratch fucking characteristics and emotes, right? They people back 5,000 years ago, they scratch fucking emotes into big megalithic blocks, right? And we dig this shit up in the sand, and we blow all the dust off of it, right? We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, to having guys, archaeologists, dig in the sand and pull out rocks and examine these rocks and shit, right? And people painted on these rocks and fucking scratched all type of patterns into them and shit, right? And what do we say? In modern day today, what do we say? This is 5,000 years. What do we say when we find it? Do we say that's stupid? Do we say that's corny? We don't like it?
No, we say, oh my god, this is so cool. This is beautiful.
That boom!
This is precious.
Do we dig diamonds out of the ground? Diamonds are created fucking millions and millions and trillions of fucking years ago. Do we look at planets afar off and stars that have died out and go, those are fucking disgusting. Those are old school, man. Fuck them old school guitar. Fuck them old school trumpets. Fuck them old school. Do we dig flutes out of the ground from Native Americans? Do we dig out? Think of what I'm saying. So why are modern day people so afraid of new ideas?
That's a good question.
I'm not afraid of shit. I'm not afraid of living my life fully. I'm not afraid of other gods and other ideas and other menus and other recipes and other jewelry and other forms of fucking makeup and other people. I'm not afraid of everything like everybody is. But I think that we've been taught to be afraid because we've been taught to buy now. Hurry up and buy now. If you don't do this, you're gonna fucking die. You're gonna fucking perish. You're not gonna have freedom. You're not black. You can't go downtown. Whatever it is. You're not a fucking man. Whatever it is, they can throw at you. There's salesmen that are gonna try to talk you out of living your life. They're gonna come up to you and say, I know what I need for you. I know what type of music is suggested for your fucking mood. I know what type of God you need. I know what type of job you should be doing. I know what type of man you should date. I know what type of band you should be in. You're going to have people come in your life and do that. And it's up to you to have the self-control to not be bought out of every minute, every moment of your life. Because people will talk you out of something you think is beautiful. You're looking at the Mayan fucking temples and you're like, oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And somebody come around and tell you, oh man, you know, that's not the new thing. That's not the trend. That's not what we're all doing now. We're not all wearing that kind of jewelry. We don't all look like that. So you're not safe. You're going to die. If you don't have freedom, if you don't have God, if you don't have religion, if you don't have TikTok, you're going to perish. If you don't do the new thing or the old thing. But mostly what people want you to do is the popular thing. But the point is, I don't fear AI music because I don't think that it can replace human music. I think you'll just have Pixar and then you'll have whatever else. Oil paintings didn't get rid of stone carving. Stone carving's still cool as a motherfucker. Some people are like, oh no, they're going to replicate. You can't replicate Melissa. Let me see you replicate Melissa in real life. Her parents are like, nah, it's not possible. You know what I mean? It's actually not possible.
It's not.
So what are you afraid of? Can you replicate the Mayan temples?
No.
Can you replicate the pyramids? Can you replicate the Mona Lisa? No. Nice fucking try. I gotta put away the milk.
Okay. Yeah, definitely put away the milk. Drums, 2. Wait, what, Carrie?
No, but y'all see my point, right?
My mom said, definitely not, with mad exclamation points.
That's what I'm saying. So there's no, why fear something like that? Like, okay, it's like we didn't fear like filters like that. Like, okay, let me ask you a question. Think about the people you love in your life. Turn around to them, talk to them, your friends, your family, your nieces, your daughters. Do you prefer looking at them on the phone versus looking at them in person? Has that ever went out of style? Having a conversation with your boyfriend or your husband, you know what I'm saying? Has that gone out of style for you? It hasn't for me. No fucked up salesman has walked into my life and been like, dude, fuck the pyramids, man. Virtual pyramids. No one's ever convinced me that virtual kissing was dope. Nobody said that virtual hamburgers is going to be fucking awesome. You can't sell me on that shit. Maybe there are generations, maybe there are people, maybe there are whole societies that tell you that there was a man in the sky that fucking threw lightning bolts at people. And there were probably hundreds of thousands of... Oh, wait, there were people who believe that. Oh. Okay, never mind. Maybe... let's think of something crazier. Like there was these people that came out of the sky and they were dressed like fucking cats and fucking... Wait a minute. There were people that believed that shit. And Poseidon and motherfucking what the fuck. Depending on who you were and where you were, there was somebody with a whole fucking scheme just for you. You know what I'm saying? They had it right on the menu and I mean it was a story you went with. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Life is about ferry boats, and it's about getting on the one that doesn't sink. But don't allow nobody to come into your life and talk you out of your own beauty. No matter what that is. No matter what that faith is. If you're looking at the writing on the wall, and you're like, that's beautiful. An illustrator can't come around, a modern day illustrator can't write on parchment paper and talk you out of a stone carving. An oil painter shouldn't be able to talk you out of watercolors. If you love watercolors, then that's where your heart lies. You probably have a good reason too. Sculpting has always been cool, no?
I like sculpting.
So there will be people who like AI. Just like there were people like, oh man, that's like stealing. What do you think sampling is?
Video said it is not a matter of worrying about being replicated. It's a matter of losing relevance in a society circulating around ego like an F5 tornado. When the weatherman says it's time to run for cover, you get worried. It's human nature.
It's true. No, he's right. He's right. But let's talk about stealing. And let's talk about stealing music. And let's talk about what like Drake, people are upset these days about, oh no, they're going to take Drake's voice. And they're going to take some of the most popular music we have today is built on stealing. Pop music and hip-hop music are some of the most popular bought and sold genres today. And when you think about that music, quite literally, I grew up on hip hop music, and on hip hop music, we used to, when I was a kid, used to take the record, and you play the record, and on the mixer, you'd have a certain amount, you have a sample rate, you'd have a certain amount of time that you could sample bits and pieces. It wasn't like now where you could sample 3 hours of fucking data and put it on your phone and send it to Venus. You know what I'm saying? Those are old school shit. But the earliest amount of hip hop is they had dance music, and you would be able to juggle. You'd put 2 records on either side, and there would be 8 or 16 measures of drums or instrumental of the music, and you would start the turntable when on the downbeat when that music stopped, and before the turnaround, before the measure was up, you would juggle the same section of music on the left side of the turntable. So you have a left turntable and you have a right turntable. And in a mixer, and in the middle of the mixer, you'd have a fader that if you put it to the left, you'd hear the left. If you put the fader to the right, you hear the right turntable.
That when they go and they do...
That's a fader. That's what they're moving is a fader.
That's the fader.
And the fader is a basic. And Tommy knows. Let me tell you something. I'm glad he just came in. That's so strange. Because when I was a little boy, when we were little kids, I used to set up my turntables on his lawn in the hood. And we used to have big parties out front, and all the kids would come down and hang out, you know what I mean? And we just with the neighborhood kids, and we just saw him doing it on MTV and stuff like that. So we thought, hey man, what the hell, My mom bought me all kind of cool shit. I was lucky enough to have the type of parents, you know what I'm saying, to support what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be a DJ when I was a little kid. The first thing I ever did in music was I wanted to be a hip-hop DJ.
Hans wants to know potato salad or macaroni salad.
For me, potato. I don't really like either one, really, but...
I'm going to go with macaroni.
Yeah. But quite literally, not to get off topic, hip-hop music gained its popularity by sampling popular artists in disco, funk, some of the greatest records by Dr. Dre, by Tech Nine, by Eminem, by your favorite rap artists.
You said Young.
Young.
The Juice movie.
That's real. He's right. 12, 13 years old. He's not playing. I'm serious. DJ QD. Yeah, that's my old stage name.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a manager. No, I had a manager and everything. Okay. No, for real. We had shows.
QD.
We had all that. Yeah, I had a couple different DJ names coming up. But the point the thing I really the key takeaway that I want people to learn from this is that folks are wound up and all caught up, okay, in digital music, just like when streaming came out. The people were worried about digital music taking over analog music. But as somebody that's been involved in recording music throughout the transition of analog and digital music, when I first started recording, it was on reel-to-reel cassettes. Nobody could melt or burn wax. They didn't have nothing like that in my town. But we definitely, we definitely had ADAT, SVHS, reel-to-reel, and all you people out there that record know what I'm talking about. We definitely had DAT machines and SVHS, and we definitely had cassettes, 4 tracks, 8 tracks, and reel-to-reel. That's how you recorded before all that, before you recorded on computers. Some of you may know that, some of you may not. And when the technology changed over, me and my recording friends, my rapper friends and rocker friends and mixers and everybody was involved in live entertainment was terrified that digital music and streaming was going to take away cassettes and CDs and vinyl. But it hasn't. And I know most of y'all going, nah, man, I don't fuck with CDs. But I'm telling you, I'm in a rock and roll band that sells CDs. A large part of our demographic buys CDs. So if you know what I'm saying, if you're 14 years old, you probably don't buy a CD, but our demographic buys CDs. So people go, oh, what's the radio? Everyone's on Spotify. Everybody's on Pandora. Everybody's on, iTunes. No, they're not. Just the people that are on iTunes are on iTunes. Like the people that are on iTunes, they're not on Pandora. And the people that are on Pandora, they really don't care much for Liquid XM and all this other shit. You talk to XM radio people and satellite people, they're in a whole fucking club of their own. They couldn't tell you anything about no frequencies or FM dials or AM. They wouldn't know the fucking difference. And then you got the internet radio people. Me and Lexi have done whole programs on how powerful internet radio is and how people pretend that it doesn't exist. Now, we could debate on how valuable it is or whatever, but what I'm telling you is there's a major market for it. So I've sat down with rappers and singers and songwriters, and we talk about how to distribute material. And I'll start to get to CDs and cassettes and whatever, and they'll start fighting me. And they'll say, oh, really? And they'll start telling me about Spotify and everything else, and we'll talk about how much people make off of Spotify. And we'll talking about, end over end, your investment in Spotify and how much you're going to be working for Spotify versus how much you'd actually would have made if you would have got and invested the time and got yourself situated to release other forms of music that you may not be aware that your fan base would love to have. It's just you haven't researched it. Or you haven't, you know what I'm saying? You haven't got to know your fan base, at a deep enough level yet. But like our fan base is very talkative. And we here, like in Sepsis, we have done a good job of like keeping our content like peer reviewable. So like if people really hate the symbols or whatever, like our Patreons and all the people that are more invested in our products and what we're doing, the people that are more invested in our career, those people, we ask those people what they think, is the bass too loud? Should the vocals be louder? We ask those people. So by the time our music gets to the general public, if somebody's like, I don't like that, I don't give a fuck. I actually don't care. Because my strongest, most loyal customers have already peer reviewed it. You're late. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when, there's some people that subscribe to us, or there's some people that are invested in us, even some of my friends and family, or even like our parents or different people that are just more involved in the project than the average guy coming by or meeting us on social media. So by the time it comes to somebody, they go, oh man, I don't like that note choice, or I don't like that guitar line, or I don't like that solo. We don't give a fuck. Because by that time it's already been reviewed by 120 people before we even allowed it to go out. We made sure that those 300 people that we trust the most already liked it. So that, what I'm saying, if you've ever heard a song that you don't like of ours, we usually don't give a shit. Because the song was already, it's already been, qualified by our top fans and people that care about us the most. And we're not in a race to put out, what Spotify wants. We're in a race to put out what our fans want. And we can always count on our competitors because the whole world is geared towards wanting to put out what other people are putting out. And that's what's made sampling so popular, is that there's a large group of people that, they believe that having the opportunity to gain exposure through other popular artists and other popular means is a gateway to success, when we don't believe that. And if anything else, at least we can count on our competitors to continue to believe that, because they will. And that allows us to tap into markets that people might not otherwise, it's easy to sit there and hyper focus and go Spotify. Or, what I'm saying, when Napster, when they were streaming, it's like all we talked about. And we feared MP3s and digital music until we didn't. The same way we feared music leaving our high schools. We feared that, and then we didn't. We feared music leaving the schools until it was gone. Religious people feared God leaving the schools until it was gone. Now it's gone. You see what I'm saying? People feared streaming. It's, oh man, don't do that. You're going to shortchange the artists. The labels were shortchanging the artists before that. Nobody did anything to stop it.
Yep.
So when did we really get this whole, let's fight for the artist thing? Like, if anything, like, musicians are some of the easiest people to steal from. If we haven't shown that time and time over again. If you go to the common person and you say, hey man, are record labels shady? Even like, it's so obvious, it's such a cliche, it's such a common thing that even people who have no fucking clue about the internet, music industry, or art or entertainment, they've heard the rumor of how shady, the record business is. They've heard, if the record business had as much responsibility and they stood up as much for themselves as they did the adult industry, people get paid in music. They follow the law. The adult industry, they follow the law because they have to. But if the music industry followed the law as much as the adult industry, shit, if Walmart followed the law, then people wouldn't have so many litigations against Walmart. You wouldn't have big corporations that have wager litigations. Some of the biggest corporations in the world have wager litigations, just like the biggest music festivals are all in court for litigations for stealing. Because musicians, honestly, not to bridge off, but I do believe that this has been an edge for us by us not hiding our head under the covers and being like, oh my God, no, it doesn't exist. We've been able to look at some of these topics and turn them into conversational based material, and that's kept us ahead. So buy vinyl. So hey, no, but
just one key takeaway: please buy vinyl.
Didn't we talk about last week how many people own vinyl and didn't have a record player?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the number.
Melissa, you own vinyl. Not that you play it. I'm just saying products are going to eat products regardless. Okay?
I like vinyls and CDs. I prefer CDs, but
right. And why? And so my whole thing is like, if you were born in a time that enjoyed radio, why should you stop listening to radio? That's my point. Radio never went anywhere. Like Pixar, I remember when Pixar came out, everybody was worried that, illustrators were never going to be a thing anymore. When cell phones came out, I remember it was like, oh no, there's not going to be any photographers anymore. Dude, yeah, right.
if I had a bigger place,
That's like when
I would
auto-tune...
probably get some more vinyls.
Think about it. When auto-tune came out, everybody told me how that was the death of the singer. If any, to me, auto-tune has made human singers that much cooler. No?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you guys all think about this shit. That's why I'm asking. This is only one... This is just my very limited scope. Has, like... Okay.
Hearing someone sing as opposed
what
to
about
hearing
making
the auto-tune, I appreciate more than the auto-tune.
How about listening to a record more than listen to somebody sing in a room?
I'd rather listen to them sing in the room.
Me too. I prefer somebody's voice in the room rather than I do on a tape record. I mean, a fucking whatever, a speaker, whatever, any speaker in the world. You know what I don't like to listen to any type of music is on one of these.
On the phone.
I don't care for it. So when people are like, hey, did you hear my... If they come up with me with one of these, I don't want to hear it. I'd rather you bring a boom box, any goddamn thing, one of those fucking Bluetooth thing, anything. Don't ask me to listen to rap or heavy metal on one of these. Not me. Save it. You can't be like, listen to my mix, man. I can't listen to your mix on the cell phone, bro. It's not gonna do it for me. I'm not gonna listen to your modern heavy metal mix on the cell phone, bro.
I feel that.
I'm not gonna listen to hardcore rap and bass music on a cell phone.
Listen to it on a computer if I must.
I just not on the just anything but this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is digital art never got rid of pencils.
Yep.
Pencils are fucking... Think how many we have in the house. Listen, I love my phone. How many times do you hear me going, "Where's the fucking pen? Where's the fucking pen?" I just showed you guys my notes. Look, this is my favorite thing in the whole house. Listen, my cell phone has never gotten rid of. If it wasn't for the crinkly paper sound, I'd still write my music on paper. But now the microphones are so good. If I try to sing my lyrics while reading the paper, it's gonna go crinkle, crinkle.
I have tons of notebooks, pencils, pens, markers. I'm an artist, so I got like everything, you know.
Has any of those things made your paintbrushes any less cool?
Hell no. I love my paintbrushes.
That's what I'm saying. So I think if you're going to be alive for like 100 years, let's just say, this is like generous, but let's say that, you're going to live for 100 years. In 100 fucking years, do you think you're going to hate vinyl?
No.
Think about it. For you to use a record player, it took you to like you were 4 or 8 or whatever, whenever your mom allowed you to use it. So you lived your whole life for half a decade to use that fucking vinyl, right? Then you collected vinyl for another 10 or 15 years, right? Now you're 15, 14, you've been collecting vinyl, you love vinyl, vinyl's in your life, then all of a sudden some asshole comes over with an MP3 and talks you out of loving it? Man, you are a fucking nerd then. What do you got, Lex? I forgot what we were talking about, but that was fun.
Heavy Music Awards on a Twitch stream got shut down because their bassist nipples were popping out of their shirt.
What?
On Twitch? Everybody?
On Twitch.
Have you ever seen the girls do the bubble baths?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a whole category on Twitch for hot tubs, pools, spas, like it's a whole category.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. It's a thing. People watch it. No, for real.
Huh.
It's really
I
wild.
suddenly feel very late to the party. I'm not saying we should have a bubble bath stream, because I don't. I really don't. But in terms of like, isn't that? Oh, they can't. I mean, they have to be. How are you gonna get in a spa with a t-shirt on?
Well, I think bikinis are fine.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, so you're talking about it was a guy?
It was a girl.
Oh.
It was not a guy.
So what happens when? Oh, don't get me started on this one. So but on Twitch, are men allowed to take off?
Yeah. Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Put a 1 in the chat if you guys think that females should be allowed to show their chests legally on.
What channels are
No, I want to hear this. No.
Asking for-
Let's cut the shit right now. I want to hear where you guys are at. Do you think that women should be allowed to walk around tops off because the men do? I'm not going to make this a big political thing, but I just want to know. I'm not a girl. Can I tell you something right now? I don't want to make laws for girls. I'm not in charge. Me and the boys will make the laws with the boys, and y'all girls make the laws for the girls. Is that cool? I'm not going to, because I'm not, I'm not trying to get jumped in here.
Thank you.
That's my role. We'll do all right. So I'm saying I personally don't have any problem with it. If I was the ruler.
Thanks.
Okay? That's all I'm going to say. I would not say
Great.
no. Does that make me a pervert?
No.
I think it does.
I think women should be in charge of their own bodies.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
If I say yes, then it makes me a pervert. Do the next one. Do the next one.
Okay.
Do the next one.
Gotcha.
I'm out.
So, Twisted Sister's guitarist says that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't respect metal, and there's zero understanding about the genre. So, Twisted Sister was recognized by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They were indicted and all that.
Indicted? That means they're going to jail.
Sorry.
You mean inducted?
Thank you.
Indicted, Lexi, when you get indicted for something, that means you have class felonies.
Oh, no.
Trust me, I know. You don't want to be.
I do this every time
Listen, it's
we talk
okay.
about the Rock and Roll Hall
Think
of
about
Fame.
it. It's okay to be inducted. It is not good to be indicted.
I should really just remove that word from my vocabulary.
Yo, are you guys listening to this shit?
Inducted. They were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall.
And that's not like the aliens.
No.
That would be an abduction.
That was abducted.
Right.
Okay, I may have snake bites. It's inducted
Oh my goodness.
into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Is there something in your eye?
My eyes are burning.
If you ever notice, around this time, her eyes always burn off.
Yeah, I have dry eyes.
Dry eyes.
So they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Sure.
and there was an interview, and in the interview, when the interviewer asked...
You sure this isn't an interrogation? Because usually when you've been indicted, then comes the interrogation.
This is an interview, and they were asked, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame giving heavy metal artists their dues, and his response was pretty interesting. History is going to tell that story. I certainly can't tell it. It's always been derided. As you know, the critics have never really warmed up to it. Even back in the days of Led Zeppelin, those guys couldn't get the respect they deserved in the early days. I remember seeing Led Zeppelin headline in the Fillmore East, and believe it or not, the Woody Herman Orchestra was a special guest that night. Think about that for a second. Why do you have a jazz orchestra as a special guest? Well, the review in the New York Times ripped the whole thing and focused on that instead of Zeppelin. So there's always been a lack of respect. I think the problem with critics in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is that they refuse to acknowledge that heavy metal probably was what kept the live music industry going in the 80s. It never gets its due. Just look at how long they made Kiss wait. There's zero understanding of what the genre is about. How do you not acknowledge a band that made such an impact as Kiss? It's silly, it's stupid, and it's ignorant. That was his response to that.
He is always very assertive.
Yeah.
I hate that dude. I know a lot of times I know they put people in the... It's like kind of like, you know how people like... You know, we see like small forms of that with me a lot. You know, well, I'll say something and people go, oh, you know... They get all excited about it, and they like kind of like they magnify it a little bit, and they take a. He's a strong person, but he's always been that way. You know, he was very much so. He was revered for that. Coming up, a lot of these guys that used to get cheered on for this kind of shit are kind of being made fun of at this time. I just want to share y'all. Meta agrees to sell Giphy to Shutterstock. I mean, that doesn't. People probably don't care about it a lot out there.
I used to use Giphy.
Yeah, and you might be like, oh wow, that's like trivial, or whatever. But they sold it for like $340 million. That's why I wanted to show you that. That's a lot of money.
That's intense.
It is. It's just when you see Facebook getting rid of assets like that, something's going down. So I'm just saying, keep an eye on that. Yeah. They have a long-running legal battle over its acquisition with Giphy, and it's come to an end. A significant discount on the 400, so they wanted to acquire it for $400 million. But Meta announced it acquired Giphy, and it tried to integrate its network into it. You know, that's why we had so many problems with GIFs. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Remember on Facebook specifically?
Yeah.
We had all this problem. That's why if you go on Facebook right now and you look up like our GIFs, it's like it's harder than it used to be.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's not even like news or nothing like that. I just want y'all to know that. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I did have one other thing here. I just don't know where the fuck I put it.
That's okay.
Oh, here it is. So, I was talking about this a long time ago, and it came off of it was a jump off of the story from the TikTok ban, dude. Now, you remember months and months and months ago, I made a prediction, and I was like, yo, they're going to get rid of that shit. This is before they was talking about it. Like, and I said, man, they're going to get rid of that shit. And that's because we've had, obviously, like, a technology, news, we've had a fight over, like, knowledge for a while and data sharing, you know what I mean? Like, it's really, everybody's aware of it. It's this stuff's here to stay. This is the stuff we want. We complain about it, but none of us turn the phone off. You guys could turn it. We could turn it all off right now. Mm-hmm. Just turn it off. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right. Well,
I'm just kidding. It's early. You went for that? You really went for that play?
I mean, I could if you want me to. Let me know.
No. So the what I'm trying to say is we have the ability at any time to turn it off. Mm-hmm. We'll demonstrate that in 20 minutes. So I wanted to come and talk to you guys about this because this is an offshoot about I had an episode, if you go back a few weeks ago, and I had talked about, this is before it was in the news, I talked about the possibility of certain parts of social media you having to be an adult to use it. Mm-hmm. Specifically like owning business pages, creating ledgers, buying, selling, owning public figure pages, all of that, e-commerce. Melissa, can you look up what age somebody can have like an e-commerce account on like just try like Shopify or something like that. I'm just curious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, can a 4-year-old have a Shopify? No. So this is just a story I just want to share with y'all. But children under 13 would be banned from social media under a bipartisan Senate bill. Hear me out. A bipartisan group of senators on Wednesday introduced a legislation that aims to protect children.
Thank you for the follow. I have your answer, by the way.
What is it?
When you read stories about successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, they're usually about young 20-somethings, but the truth is you can start an e-commerce business at any age.
So you can be like 5 years old?
That's what it says.
Okay, so that's probably why they're talking about this law.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting.
That is interesting.
Because I did a whole...
I would have never thought that.
Well, I did a whole episode a few weeks ago on... I was questioning just how, as... If we are adults and we are responsible for creating... Like, 4-year-olds can't create microchips.
No.
Okay, so I get the whole thing, like, it's your life, it's your road kind of thing, it's your body type of thing, but 7-year-olds can't make up cults and churches and armies. No. That's like some Lord of the Flies type shit.
Yeah.
And that's probably as close as it gets. In fact, I've been in situations like that. It's called YDC. I'll tell you all about that on a whole nother one. That's as close as you can get to having animals running around. That's as close as you can get to kids and adults sharing the same type of space where things can happen. Is youth detention services in the 90s. That's a scary thought. That's a very scary thought. But just in terms of this, I had done an episode a few weeks ago about, I just wanted to share my views on cyberspace. And it was months ago when We were talking about the Oculus and the metaverse and all this funny shit. And I was exploring these ideas and conversations with everybody. And one of the things that just struck me just as odd is that how on the internet, online, there's no more World Wide Web. So it's all kind of been like chopped down and narrowed down into this much smaller place. And so the space online is smaller. There's no World Wide Web. You can't play video games with somebody in North Korea.
No.
You can't get on the phone right now with somebody in Russia and have a conversation about sepsis, and you can't do that. Not when there's all these other things going on. You know what I'm saying? And let's face it. You're only as civilized as if you have electricity in your country. So it's not like everybody has fucking Bluetooth and Xbox Live. We feel like that. Mm-hmm. But what you don't understand is there's some fucking African people in a hole somewhere digging out cobalt steel so you can play on your fucking iPad. You just haven't thought about it once today.
But maybe
that somebody
should.
Right.
Maybe
somebody
really
died
should.
when you went over the train tracks this morning to get to work. Somebody died laying those motherfuckers down. You just never thought about it, right? So just, in terms of like how we all got here, I'm like, wait a minute, man. 7-year-olds don't write laws.
No. And they should not own a business.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. Like, even when, like, my son, when he grew up, I hope he's watching too. My son, when he was growing up, he had this crazy fixation with Grand Theft Auto. And I used to tell him, nah, man. And he used to say, man, I know about all the shit already. I said, I know you know about all the stuff. And he said, well, how come I can't play it? And I said, it's not that you can't handle it, because children are different. There's some children that can handle horror movies, and there are some children that can't. They have night terrors. Some children can listen to heavy metal, and they be fine, Me, you know what I'm saying? I'm a perfect child. I'm a perfect example for this. I couldn't listen to rap music. You want to know why? Because it taught me how to go to jail. When music plays a major factor in the way that you're building your identity as a young man or woman, and that type of music, or that type of form, carries that negative element or energy to that, there's consequences. You see what I don't know if y'all get what I'm saying. So you can't just, not every child can hear about what happens in the hood and not experience negative consequences from that when that child's brain is developing and depends on this type of art or these type of mediums to fulfill a sense of identity. I hope that makes sense for some of y'all that are a little late to the party.
Growing up and learning and discovering, they do tend to like...
Well, your brain is still developing into your late 20s.
Yeah,
so it just...
They'll do whatever anyone else is doing.
I'm saying, most children would like to do what adults are doing, because when you view the image of adulthood, it appears that it comes with a set of circumstances, benefits, and privileges that you don't have as a child. Mm-hmm. And you need to reach this level. You need to get to 16 and you can drive the car. You get to level 18 and you can get to go work for the military. You get to level 21. There's no of these real things.
No,
the Earth oscillating around the sun with planets has nothing to do with your ability to shoot somebody in the face in Iraq. It really doesn't. It has nothing to do with your ability to raise children or the way that you look at Grand Theft Auto. Mm-hmm. But when my son was so young, a major thing for me to explain before he could play these type of games, some of the earliest games that he wanted to play, he said, why can't I play that game? And I say, because you can't read. Huh? I say, you can't play the game yet. Well, why? Because you can't fucking read the instructions. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like the internet it's not about how old a child should be. Did he understand what's going on the internet?
Can read
Right,
and understand
people
the
with
directions.
licenses, people with driver's licenses run people over, dude. It's not that people with gun licenses have a better shot. You see what I'm saying? It's not that, people with driver's licenses, they drink and drive. And I mean, if you look at the amount of people a year that run people over, the majority of them are people with driver's license. It's not like people with, there's not like an amount of people without driver's licenses that are responsible for huge numbers. Occasionally you get the goofball in the car, that doesn't have a license. But in most cases, vehicular homicide, automobile accidents are involved with people with driver's licenses. So that just means they paid for the privilege of doing it. It's not that they were good at it. Same thing with music, same thing with law enforcement, same thing with being a reverend, or same thing with all these places. You can pay for this shit, doesn't mean you're good. Doesn't mean you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, and I had this whole episode about adults sharing the same space with children and desiring the same toys in the play space. Followers, views, sales. But to me, you can't play the game unless you can read the instructions. That's what I told my kid early on, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean it's mind-blowing to me in terms of how do we get this far if we are the adults and we're responsible for the hammers and the nails?
That's a good question.
Children don't build the houses where we plug, or the light sockets where we plug the charger in, and you know what I'm saying, where we can solder and we can cut the stone, and they don't have
Adults make that.
Adults make bullets and condoms.
Adults make phones.
Adults make pharmaceuticals. Adults make laws.
And the internet.
So we certainly can't blame children. And we certainly can't say, okay, we blame children for being responsible for having, violence, in terms of like gadgets. We can't say that they're responsible for cyber terrorism because babies don't build microchips or lasers or rockets. Adults do. So in terms of sharing adult spaces, never before have adults and children wanted the same thing.
That's even more wild.
I mean, you hear about that kind of thing like child rulers in like ancient Egypt and shit. Mm-hmm. Let me just read this real quick and we'll get out of here. The Protecting Kids on Social Media Act would set a minimum age of 13 to use social apps, such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and will require a parental consent for 13 to 17-year-olds. I think that might be a little steep.
Okay.
I think it's a little steep. I wouldn't tell a 16-year-old kid to it. I mean, this is me. Surgeon General, whatever his name is, earlier this year, that 13 is too young to join social media. That's what they said. What do y'all think? Put a 1 in the chat if you think 13 years old is too young. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that's okay. What do you think, Melissa? I know it's not like you have like a bunch of children running around, but like, what do you think? What do you think about that without having children, Does it matter to you as much? 13?
I don't think.
Do you think that's right? I don't know. I don't care. Like, I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be the motherfucker that says so. Leave me out of it. I'm just presenting it to you guys.
Right, you make a good point. I would agree with that. It would depend on the maturity of the child.
See, that's kind of where I'm at with it. All right, let me finish. The bill would ban social media companies from recommending content using algorithms for users under the age of 18. I mean, they couldn't advertise to... You couldn't have a Facebook ad pop up during, like, Blue's Clues. You couldn't have a TikTok ad pop up during, you know, some educational kids thing.
Right.
It would also require the companies to employ age verification measures. I mean, what does that do? Does a kid stick his face in it, you know? And instructs them to create a pilot project for a government-provided age verification system the platforms could use. Wow, that's heavy, dude. Under this measure, the Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general would be given authority to enforce this bill's provisions. Big tech has exposed our kids to dangerous content and disturbing motherfuckers, says Senator Motherfucker. And he goes on to say that moms and dads have felt helpless while their kids suffer, sometimes leading to devastating tragedies. Instituting these simple, straightforward guidelines will be able to give the next generation of children what every parent wants for their child, a chance for them to grow up happy and healthy. I do, you know what? A part of me does wish that kids could be kids before having to be e-commerce moguls. But you know what? My kids are growing up. Have a good night.
Okay, are we actually leaving this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you guys next week.